What's up, guys? It's your boy Barca Boy 103. Today we're going to be covering the President Joan Laporta's recent interviews in the media, giving and providing the culés around the world with big updates around the club, internal issues, post of course domestic treble win, summer transfer window ahead, future of Barcelona, Camp Nou, next season objectives. He gives an update on absolutely everything, and they kind of deserved a video of its own. Let's not waste any time and let's get right into it. Of course, if you do enjoy this video, drop a like down below, subscribe as well, and let's get into it. Firstly, he was asked, as the president of Barcelona, do you feel like you've been more aggressive about Real Madrid's pressure on referees like the ones seen in the Copa del Rey final? Laporta said, everyone has their own style. We maintain a way of doing things in relation to how we run the club. It's none of my business what others do. We always use our strategies to win. I've learned to keep my distance without ceasing to be who I am because it's within me. I have my team from the presidential cabinet here who helps me a lot with this. On whether the Villarreal match a few days ago will be the last home game for Barcelona at the Montjuic, it seems so. Thank God. Montjuic has turned out better than we expected. The culés who climbed Montjuic deserve everything. The Barca fans have responded. We've had a very high attendance figure. The Olympic has worked very well, and the investment we made has been worth it. On the possible return of the Spotify Camp Nou, now we plan to play the Camp Nou next season. We'll go there and have a typical season in which we'll play while we finish building the stadium. It will be 90% built in December and it will be finished in the summer of 2026. Just deep that for a second. We're only 1 year away from the Camp Nou being fully renovated and fully done. We may be, of course, pending delays. We may be a little bit delayed with the roof. Therefore, if everything goes as planned, the Villarreal match will be the last match at the Montjuic. We want to play the Camp Nou. That's what we'd like. But also we'd like to finish the stadium as soon as possible. And the more time we have the construction and less time for games, the faster we can go. On ticketing system and season tickets for the new Camp Nou, no, not until everything is built. We'll follow the same seasonal pass that we have now. Season ticket holders will also be able to sit on the same seat, because when we return, we'll have only 60,000 seats, and that means that not all season tickets will be assigned. We'll follow the same system as Montjuic because it's a fair and democratic system. Ways are being sought to give some preference to members who accompanied us at the Montjuic. Laporta on how the payments for the costs incurred during the construction of the Camp Nou will be cleared. We have to start paying it once we're finished. It will be paid with an additional income the stadium will generate. Of this, 1/3 will be used to pay for the finances, the other third for the club, and another third for the consolidation of that may arise. Our feasible studies for repaying the finances have been very conservative. I'm convinced the stadium will be generated much more. The financial structure has been put into place. So basically, when we generate the most money from the Camp Nou, a third of it will go towards paying back the debt, third of it will go towards the club, and third of it will go to anything, last second that happens, just as a side kind of savings, essentially. On his board and the board's expectation of revenue generation from the Camp Nou, we're seeing a lot of potential. I think revenue will be much higher than expected. VIP seats have sold out at breakneck speed. They've been snatched out of our hands. We're very pleased with how companies and sponsors are responding. Our new business department is also being very imaginative about how we can make the business within the stadium much more profitable by guaranteeing temporary license, and having a new modern stadium generates a lot. On whether Barcelona will look to use the 1 million per day delay fine on Lickmac construction, let's see. We have the contract as it is. We have a good understanding with Lickmac. For them, it's an iconic project that opens up many opportunities for them as well, and they're very involved and committed. Both parties understand the situation regardless of what the contract says, and we both have good faith. There are unforeseen circumstances that both parties assess, and we will never take advantage of them. There have been some delays, but the pace of construction is good. There are some dates that we must meet, such as December 31st, 2025, when the VIP boxes must be operational, because that's already affects investors, and that's when we have to start repaying the finances. The other date must be met in the stadium must be completed by the summer of 2026. On the 1-1 rule situation currently, said, look, Barcelona is already within the 1-1 rule fair play. That this depends on the season. We have it accelerated, or it was accredited to us in the winter window as well. Each year the salary cap is assigned. We're working to ensure our accounts allow us to comply with fair play regulation next season. We think that we're on the right track. What happened a few weeks ago was a matter of timing. When the inter-financial statements arrive at La Liga, they will arrive on March 31st, and at that time we had a change of auditors. The new ones didn't expect transactions that have helped the UEFA record recognize the work we've done when it comes to accounting the VIP seats. They said that we had to be an additional step. These steps have been taken, and we will account for them shortly. it was a step in the line with the stadium works. There was a technical decision, a matter of interpretation. The new auditors have exercised an extra criteria of persistence without rectifying what the previous one did. They've set an additional condition that we've already met as well. I hope it can be recorded soon, and this will allow us to be compliant for the time being. This doesn't end on June 30th because various transactions can occur before the league starts, such as player sales and other transactions. I'm optimistic and think we'll be back in the 1-1 rule at the start of the transfer market. If we are not, we're cooked. That is plain and simple. 1-1 rule is a must. I don't even think Deco has worked a summer in the 1-1 rule yet, so we can see what he does with having no restrictions whatsoever. On the VIP block investors, they've already been mentioned, a company from Qatar and a company from Dubai, which is called New Era, and I can't remember the other one right now, but it's in our accounts. It's past our internal controls and filters, and they've already paid more than 40% of the contract. They've already paid a total of 58 million of the planned 100 million, and we may maintain maximum transparency, but we do little gossip. On the confidentiality clauses of the investor, we must respect these clauses, but we have maintained maximum transparency with these contracts. We have not hidden who signed it, who represents these companies, or the reasons for these transactions. For anyone who doesn't like it, I'm truly sorry, but it turned out well for us because thanks to that transaction, we were able to register the Oman Power Victor in the winter. We had the flexibility to resolve all the problems and obstacles they put in our way. Then asked whether Barcelona would consider working with Darren Nadine, who helped resolve the Nike deal and received a healthy compensation for that, or commission. Of course, it brings us contracts like the ones with Spotify, or the resolution of major conflict like the one we had with Nike. Then of course we will work with him another time. Here's the juicy stuff now. On Lamine Yamal's contract renewal, he's a genius who enjoys Barcelona, who has friends at Barcelona, who moreover is part of the generation that has spent a lot of time with his teammates. He's a player of superlative individual talent, but he's also a team player, and he's comfortable. He also has an agent, Jorge Mendes, whom we communicate easily with. His renewal is practically already agreed upon. It only requires verification. So his deal is pretty much done, pending last review and signature. He was asked on the payment structure of the meeting. Is going to be, top earner of the club, is going to be making bank. How would that be implied? Of course, given that kid kind of money is kind of crazy. And he said, at Barcelona, we pay players based on their abilities. We're at a club that pays well. We also say that we cannot be better off anywhere than Barca. The analysis says that not everyone can play on the team, and you can't have all the best players in the world is another matter. And that's where the key to this team lies. I mean, is a player who can succeed anywhere. We know that it happened to me with Leo Messi, who was also wanted by Inter. We ended up deciding together, including with Leo Messi's father, that Barcelona would be the best partner for him, and that's what happened because he became the best player in history. Lamine at 17, he's one of the best players in the world. He's happy, and so is his family. On whether Barcelona would consider working with Andre Curry, again, the Brazilian agent. In the last stages, I barely worked with Andre Curry except for a few players. He's an agent who knows the Brazilian market very well. There are others, not just Curry, with whom we've had conflicts at times and then agreed on other details. Anyone who has an interesting proposal for Barcelona will consider it. We don't have a blacklist of people who we can't deal with. We try to be as flexible as possible. We act professional and Barcelona's interest in mind, not just from a player perspective. Of course, this comes after Andre Curry said that he probably won't work with Barcelona again after what happened with Victor Roque, but he's saying Laporta, he's open to it. On Barca Studios deal and whether they're going to be potentially new investors, and yes, there are. There has been a merger by absorbing of Bridgeburg. Barca Productions has acquired this company. This is a business that takes time. We have many technological proposals. We want to gradually recover shares. We hold more than 55% of the company right now. On the future of Szczęsny, we want him to stay. The other day, he was celebrating the victory while smoking a cigar. I saw he wanted to stay. We also have good goalkeepers in the reserve team and the youth team. I mean, I'm at a point now where I'm actually low-key begging Tech not to renew so we can buy a new goalkeeper. On the future of Frenkie de Jong, I've always been a big fan of Frenkie de Jong. He's one of those who maintains Barcelona's style of play. He's from the Ajax school. He has a lot of personality, and I think he's having a good time. Maybe when we didn't win, people have a harder time, and he also had that huge ankle injury. He's a special player when he's at 100% fit. He's also a man who runs a lot of miles, who has a lot of coverage on the pitch, who sets the pace of the game. Now that he's recovered and working on that renewal, he's very excited. We're very determined to do whatever it takes to keep him here. While there's some, he's sorting out some personal and professional issues, and when that's resolved, we'll be able to announce that he's staying with us. So pending some personal terms being agreed, it looks like Frenkie de Jong is very close to staying at Barcelona. Laporta on how Raphinha has surprised everyone. We knew about his talent, but everything has an adaptation period, and some players need more time. What Flick has done with Raphinha is extraordinary, and he established himself as the captain of this team. He even campaigned handing out stickers to get people to vote for him. He's also very happy in the city. Securing his future is one of the pending issues we have for the upcoming days or weeks. Actually, it's already agreed. We don't want to keep any player with 1 year left on their contract. We want them to have more years because they've earned it, and because we're also interested as a club in maintaining the winning group. He also said this about Frenkie de Jong as well. We don't want any players going into the final year of their deals, so keep your eyes on Christensen for that matter as well. But we of course got the big news yesterday from Fabrizio Romano that Raphinha's renewal is all but agreed, and it will be announced tomorrow. I think today will be Flick, tomorrow will be Raphinha. Laporta on how the environment has changed with so many young people. He said, I'll tell you, we had created a Barcelona Parents Association, the FC Barcelona Players Parent Association. I think the presidency here would go to Pedri's father. He's very strange because I remember the other day when the players were, let's say, older and you were the older brother, while this generation, I'm like the father or the grandfather. The thing is, they really integrate you. They're so funny that they include you in the celebration. You even feel young again. I'm very grateful because I always think it's a very well balanced group in every way. I'm lucky to have predecessors over, Rijkaard's Barcelona or Guardiola's Barcelona, which were, benchmark teams that also conveyed a lot of good vibes, and this Barcelona is capable of that as well. On the situation of Ansu Fati, Ansu is a Barca player. He has a valid contract. We want him to progress. He's an extraordinary man. He contributed a lot to the group. I've always said he's the music of the team. He's a player who's gone through certain difficulties, and I'd love for him to come back to the top level. Wouldn't we all? But that's just not a reality. Laporta on what can be improved upon next season. For Hansi, everything needs to be studied very thoroughly. This year we played in our own way, Barcelona's own way, but I think like any coach, he's evolved the system, and to do so, a lot of study is required because changes require coordination from the entire team, and that's happened mid-season. I know they're going to study more variations in the system to counteract the shortcomings we've had at times this season. On his views of the German school of football and what led to him signing Flick, he said, look, I've always liked Johan Cruyff's Dutch style, but yes, I do speak with German coach Ralf Rangnick when I read an interview with him about Johan, and he mentioned to me Tuchel, Nagelsmann, Klopp, Flick, and we came to the conclusion that the most suitable player to take over the head coach might be Hansi, and Deco Mbonia's trip to London ended up deciding everything. On his opinion of Flick and his achievements this season, the objective was to win the league, and that has been achieved. That was our main objective. Flick has said it in many statements. I like what he says about it being the most honest competition because it demonstrates hard work, perseverance, improvement, and sacrifice. In the league, you always have a rough patch, and we managed to overcome it. So Laporta there saying that the objective this season was just to win the league, and of course we've done that, and we've done that even more so on top of it with the domestic treble. So next season we'll see what the objectives really are. This is now into another interview. I believe this was with Raccoon. He came out saying that I gave Hansi a letter to read when he had time. It's not about winning, it's about also the way you do it here at Barcelona. I've already liked Flick beforehand. I invited him to my house for lunch with Rafael Uste, and we came to the conclusion that he had the right qualities to coach Barcelona. He had already had agreement though with the German national team. So of course back in 2021 when Koeman was still the manager, which of course the rumors there were correct. The match against Villarreal most likely will be the last match at the Montjuic. If all goes well, we'll do a test run of the new Spotify Camp Nou for the Joan Gamper on the weekend of August 9th or the 10th. So strap your seatbelts back. Hopefully we'll be back at the Camp Nou this time around. On Ansu, again, we want Ansu to play. He makes the relationship in the locker room very good. Everyone likes him. We'll see if next year he gets minutes or if we need to find a better solution for him. There will be moves this summer in our squad. Our rivals will also strengthen because they have seen that our team right now is the best, and this for me is probably the biggest quote. Investing and still signing top players even though you've had a remarkable season. Look at the evidence in the past recent years. When teams are good for a period of time, it's because they sign players to bring that coverage, to bring that competition, and instill the fight and keep the fight consistent in the squad. Signings this summer are imperative, not 5 or 6. You know how to do a 2022 economic lever summer. 2 to 3 top quality signings, get some exits to the door as well, and this team can definitely go again this upcoming season. On Lamine Yamal, Lamine's situation has been discussed, but the signature is still missing. I can't say it's done if it's not done. However, the matter is being handled. We're thrilled to have him. Deco is working on getting his signature. We, of course, have great communication with Jorge Mendes. A player's salary should always match their performance and their importance on the pitch, regardless of the age. And Barca is the best team for Lamine Yamal. He is Catalan. He is a Culé to the core. He is destined to be the best player in the world. On Frenkie, for a couple of months, some personal circumstances of his have occurred. We wanted him to stay, and he is key to our project. The Frenkie situation is urgent, though. We don't want players who only have 1 year left on their contract. He knows this, and we have talked about it. He's very motivated. He really likes the Dutch school. We really like the Dutch school. With him, we have control in the game. On Araujo's renewal, Araujo's contract was renewed because we knew that he's the kind of center back who can help us a lot, and for that reason we extend his contract. Deco has a strong connection with Raphinha. The player feels very involved with the project. We will reach an agreement because we want him to stay, and he wants to stay. Again, the agreement has been reached yesterday. Once the renewals are all finalized, we will then make some reinforcements. We need to strengthen some positions to make the team more competitive. So the plan right now is to get renewals done. So Rafa, Flick, Lamine, De Jong, probably Koundé as well, maybe Szczesny, maybe Christensen, maybe Eric Garcia. You probably have from now until July the 1st, a good month and a half to get all those sorted out. That when the summer hits, you can just focus on signings, and that for me is a good plan. Now Laporta continues on by saying, on Deco's team, I know that they are improving to work on every single line, which of course is important. On Barcelona's financial situation, we will earn about 950 million euros this season and almost 1 billion euro income. We are very confident that we will meet the 1-1 rule condition, and Deco has it a lot easier to operate in the transfer window in the 1-1 rule than opposed to, of course, the 1-4 rule. Quite obvious. I don't know if Florentino Perez has congratulated me from the La Liga win. I haven't had time to read all my WhatsApp messages I received. Same with Tebet. I don't know if they congratulated me or not. They probably neither of them did. In life, nothing is. He's asked this about Holland, saying that in life nothing is impossible. The signing of Holland is not something that we are thinking about right now. It's not necessary, and of course he recently renewed with Man City. Again, that's probably not going to happen anytime soon. Then he's asked on Nico Williams, saying that Nico Williams was one of the candidates that we wanted to sign last summer. We then finally decided to sign Dani Olmo. Right now, I believe the sports management is considering other options. It's also been reported in the media as well that Barcelona do not see Nico Williams as a top or even top 3, top 4 option to reinforce the winger department this summer, which is a big blow in my opinion. On the Camp Nou, the Spotify Camp Nou, there will be a space set up for 1,500 people that will be the new fan zone, i.e. the animation, stand. We hope to find a solution that all Culés like. On the referee situation, our strategy with the referee is to complain as little as possible. There is an obvious sociological bias towards Real Madrid, and I don't say it just to say it. We need a little benefit from complaining. The referees are becoming more professional. Hopefully that's the case, but it doesn't look like that. On winning the league, we have won despite an institutional smear campaign in which we were condemned before being judged as we were in the Negeda case. The attempts to destabilize us has been fierce. Again, this is why for me this is the best league title I've ever seen us win. The signing of Victor Roque is one of those circumstances that sometimes happens. Not everything turns out well. Thankfully we sold him, don't have to worry about that. On Dani Olmo situation, I was convinced that we were right about the Dani Olmo situation. It was obvious that we were right. I'm happy to see that we are champions. At that time, Flick didn't understand why Danny couldn't play. Barca is the most multi-sport club in the world and represents an annual budget of 95 million euros, including the youth football academies. On La Masia is the right level. We always sign players to gain talent and experience. Flick has achieved a perfect symbiosis that works very well for us, and that is Laporta's interview. Look, of course, 2 different separate interviews there. That's why there's a bit of repetitiveness in what he said. Of course, giving updates on renewal, the plan for the summer, going back to the stadium, smear campaign, and everything in regards to financial budgets, and of course the Camp Nou building. I think it's very important that he does this. Again, he does this always at the end of the season to give us transparency and tranquility to the fan base and provide us the fact of a bit of comfort, and that we can trust what this board is going to do. Again, in terms of the squad, renewals right now, probably for the next month. Then you lock in on transfers, Camp Nou. We're going to be back, of course, for the Joan Gamper. That is the plan. Of course, we're supposed to come back this season somewhere in the second half, and we didn't. So hopefully, first game, competitive game for La Liga is at the Camp Nou. Budget-wise, 950 million profit this season. We're hopefully going to be back in the one rule. We'll find that out, I believe, in the middle of June, if I'm not mistaken, when La Liga do their final calculation and Barcelona submit, of course, absolutely everything on, of course, the smear campaign. And what happened this season was, of course, very, very tough on the club and also on the fan base as well. That's why the feeling of winning and the celebration is so much better than it is, because there's so much pain off the pitch as much as on the pitch that we suffered through this season. Now, of course, in the comments down below, let me know your thoughts on what Laporta mentioned. Do you think we will be back at the Camp Nou for the Joan Gambler? Your thoughts on the plan for this summer? Of course, renewals and signings, future of certain players as well. Would you want Barcelona to sign Nico Williams or early Holland? Your thoughts on the renewal of Rafa, Lamine, Frenkie de Jong? Leave me all your thoughts down below, and of course, make sure you guys subscribe down below as well if you haven't already. And I'll see you guys next time on the channel. Take care and Forza Barca.